The rain pounded against the windows of Elena's small tailor shop in Brooklyn, a relentless drumbeat that matched the storm raging inside me. I had rushed in, soaked to the bone, desperate for a last-minute alteration on my suit for tomorrow's job interview, the one that could change everything after months of unemployment. But when Elena's hands brushed my shoulders as she pinned the fabric, her touch lingered just a second too long, sending an electric jolt through me that had nothing to do with the cold. My name is Jordan Hayes, a 28-year-old graphic designer scraping by in New York City, and I'd always known I was gay. Coming out to my conservative Midwestern family 5 years ago had been like dropping a bomb. They'd cut ties, leaving me to rebuild alone in the anonymity of the big city. Elena Rossi, on the other hand, was the epitome of straight-laced normalcy. 30 years old, married to her high school sweetheart, Marco, with a 2-year-old daughter named Sophia. Her shop, Rossi's Stitches, was a neighborhood staple, filled with the scent of fresh fabric and the hum of her sewing machine. I'd been a regular customer for minor fixes, but this was different. This suit was for a corporate gig at a top firm, and I needed to look impeccable. As she knelt to hem the pants, her dark curls falling over her shoulder, she looked up at me with those warm brown eyes. "You've got great posture, Jordan. Makes my job easier." Her voice was soft, almost intimate, and I felt my cheeks flush. I mumbled something about yoga, but inside my mind raced. Why did her proximity feel so charged? She was straight, happily married, or so I thought. But as she measured my inseam, her fingers grazed my leg, and I caught her breath hitch. She pulled back quickly, laughing it off. "Sorry, slippery tape today." That evening, after I left with the promise to pick up the suit in the morning, I couldn't shake the feeling. I paced my tiny apartment in Williamsburg, replaying the moment. Was it my imagination? No, there was something there, a spark that terrified me. I'd sworn off crushes on straight women after a disastrous college fling that ended in heartbreak and humiliation. Yet here I was, heart pounding over a married tailor. The next day, the interview went flawlessly, thanks to Elena's expert work. I landed the job, and in my elation, I stopped by her shop with a bottle of wine as a thank you. She was closing up, Sophia playing with fabric scraps on the floor. Marco wasn't around. He worked construction shifts that kept him away most evenings. "Congratulations." Elena beamed, accepting the gift. We chatted over the counter, and before I knew it, she invited me to stay for a quick dinner. "Marco's working late again. It's just pasta, nothing fancy." What started as gratitude turned into hours of conversation. She opened up about her life, the pressure from her Italian-American family to be the perfect wife and mother, the dream she'd shelved for art school to support Marco's career. I shared my own isolation, the ache of family rejection. Our words flowed like threads weaving together, and when Sophia tugged at my sleeve, calling me Auntie Jordan in her toddler lisp, something shifted. Elena watched us with a softness I'd never seen. But guilt gnawed at me. This was dangerous territory. As I left, she hugged me goodbye. A simple embrace that lingered, her cheek against mine. "You're a good friend, Jordan," she whispered. Friend. The word stung, but it was a boundary I clung to. Over the next weeks, our friendship deepened. I'd drop by after work, helping with Sophia while Elena sewed. Marco was oblivious, grateful for the extra hand. But the tension built. One night, as we washed dishes after dinner, our hands brushed under the soapy water. She didn't pull away. Instead, she turned to me, eyes searching. "Jordan, do you ever feel like your life is a suit that doesn't fit right?" Her voice trembled. I froze. "All the time," I admitted. In that moment, the air thickened with unspoken truths. She leaned in, her lips inches from mine, but Sophia's cry from the other room shattered the spell. Elena rushed away, leaving me breathless and confused. The internal conflict tore at me. I knew pursuing this could destroy her marriage, her family. My own heart, still scarred from rejection, warned me to run. But the pull was undeniable. Society's eyes were everywhere, whispers in the neighborhood about that lesbian designer, judgmental stares from Elena's church friends. And her family? The Rossis were devout Catholics. Deviation from the norm was unforgivable. Yet, the more we talked, the more cracks appeared in her facade. She confessed doubts about her marriage, Marco's growing distance, his temper flares after long days. I love him, but sometimes I wonder if this is all there is, she said one evening as we walked Sophia to the park. Her hand brushed mine and I didn't move it. The first betrayal came subtly. Marco planned a weekend getaway for their anniversary, but Elena feigned illness to stay home. She called me instead. We spent the day in Central Park, Sophia giggling on the swings. As the sun set, Elena turned to me. With you I feel seen, Jordan. Truly seen. Her words were a confession and my heart soared, then crashed with the weight of what it meant. That night back at her shop she kissed me. It was tentative, filled with years of suppressed longing. I pulled back. Elena, this could ruin everything. Tears welled in her eyes. Maybe everything needs ruining to be rebuilt. The decision haunted me. Was I the villain, tempting a straight woman from her path? Or was this her awakening? The societal pressure mounted. Friends warned me about home-wrecking. My therapist urged caution. But love, or whatever this was, blinded us. The kiss changed everything like a seam ripped open, exposing raw edges that couldn't be easily mended. Elena and I agreed to keep it secret, but secrets have a way of unraveling in a city like New York, where walls are thin and eyes are sharp. Marco noticed her distraction first. Late nights at the shop, unexplained smiles on her phone. Who's texting you so much? He'd ask, his voice edged with suspicion. She'd brush it off as client orders, but the lies piled up like discarded fabric scraps. I wrestled with my conscience daily. At my new job, surrounded by progressive colleagues who celebrated pride, I felt like a hypocrite. Here I was advocating for authenticity, yet entangled in a web of deception. My apartment became a refuge where I'd replay our stolen moments. A hurried embrace in the back room of the shop, whispered conversations after Sophia's bedtime. Each touch was a rebellion against the norms that bound her. Elena's internal turmoil was deeper. Raised in a tight-knit family in Little Italy, she had always followed the script. Marry young, have kids, uphold traditions. Her mother, Maria, called daily, reminding her of church obligations and family dinners. You're a good girl, Elena. Don't forget that, Maria would say. But now, Elena questioned everything. What if I'm not who they think I am? She confided one afternoon as we sat on her shop stoop, watching Brooklyn bustle by. The first major confrontation came at a family gathering. Marco's brother was getting engaged, and the Rossis hosted a lavish party. Elena invited me as a friend, but the tension was palpable. Maria eyed me suspiciously. You spend a lot of time with my daughter. What do you two do all day? Her tone dripped with insinuation. I smiled politely, but inside panic surged. Elena defended me, but later in the kitchen she broke down. They'll never understand, Jordan. If they knew. That night Marco cornered her. Is there someone else? He demanded. She denied it, but the seed was planted. He started checking her phone, showing up unannounced at the shop. The pressure built, forcing us to meet in secret. Coffee shops in distant neighborhoods, late-night walks in the park. Each rendezvous was laced with fear and exhilaration. Society's judgment amplified the drama. At my office, a coworker shared stories of queer acceptance, but Elena's world was different. Her church preached against unnatural desires, and neighborhood gossips whispered about those types. One day, a client refused service after seeing us laugh too closely. I don't support that lifestyle, she sneered. Elena's face paled, but she stood firm. Then find another tailor. The moral dilemmas piled on. Was I selfish for pursuing this? Elena had a child, Sophia, innocent and adoring. What if we hurt her? I asked during a tearful argument in my apartment. Elena's eyes flashed. Staying in a loveless marriage would hurt her more. Kids sense unhappiness. But doubt lingered. Her decision to explore her sexuality meant betraying vows, risking custody battles. Then came the betrayal that cut deep. Elena confided in her best friend, Lisa, swearing her to secrecy. But Lisa, horrified, told Maria. The fallout was swift. Maria stormed the shop, face thunderous. Is it true? You're leaving Marco for her. Elena stammered, caught off guard. Mom, it's complicated. Maria slapped her hard. You're destroying this family. Think of Sophia. Elena called me sobbing. I rushed over, holding her as she wept. I can't do this, Jordan. The pain. It's too much. But in her vulnerability, she clung tighter. That night, she told Marco everything. His rage echoed through the apartment. Shouts, broken glass. He packed a bag and left, vowing to fight for custody. The aftermath was chaos. Elena moved in with me temporarily, Sophia in tow. My small space felt crowded with toys and tears. Family calls flooded in. Accusations of sin, pleas to repent. Elena's father disowned her over the phone. You're no daughter of mine. The societal backlash hit harder. Lost clients, anonymous hate mail. Even my job felt precarious, with subtle questions about my personal life. Yet, amid the storm, moments of awakening emerged. Elena attended her first Pride event, incognito, her hand in mine. I feel free, she whispered, watching the parade. But freedom came at a cost. Marco filed for divorce, citing infidelity. The lawyer warned of a messy battle. Judges often favored the stable parent. My own demons resurfaced. Flashbacks to my family's rejection fueled nightmares. Am I worth this destruction? I asked Elena one sleepless night. She cupped my face. You're worth finding myself. The divorce proceedings turned our lives into a battlefield, where every word and action was scrutinized under the harsh fluorescent lights of a Manhattan courtroom. Elena sat rigidly beside her lawyer, her once vibrant eyes dulled by exhaustion, while Marco glared from across the aisle, flanked by his family. Sophia, mercifully, was with a sitter, spared the spectacle of her parents tearing each other apart. I waited outside, my heart pounding, knowing my presence inside would only fuel the fire. Marco's attorney had already painted me as the seductress who lured Elena astray. The judge, a stern woman in her 50s, listened impassively as testimonies unfolded. Marco's side emphasized stability. His steady job, the home they'd built, Elena's sudden confusion. She's being influenced by immoral choices, his lawyer argued, invoking societal norms and religious values. Elena's defense countered with tales of emotional neglect. Marco's absences, her right to happiness. But the subtext was clear. In a system still laced with bias, a lesbian relationship was a liability. Elena's testimony broke me. I love my daughter more than anything, she said, voice cracking. But I can't pretend anymore. Jordan showed me what real connection feels like. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Maria clutched her rosary, tears streaming. The judge adjourned for the day, but the damage was done. That evening, Elena collapsed in my arms. What if I lose her, Jordan? What if this was all a mistake? The internal conflicts raged fiercer. Elena grappled with guilt over appending Sophia's world. Bedtime stories now interrupted by questions like, "Where's Daddy?" I questioned my role. Was I a catalyst for her truth or a convenient escape? Society's pressure amplified the doubt. Online forums buzzed with opinions on straight women experimenting, labeling Elena a traitor to her vows. Friends distanced themselves. My boss suggested discretion to avoid office drama. A pivotal confrontation came at a mediation session. Marco, red-eyed, pleaded with Elena. Come back. We can fix this. For Sophia. His vulnerability shook her. I still love you in a way, she admitted. But when he demanded she cut me out, her resolve hardened. No. I won't live a lie. He stormed out, vowing full custody. The betrayal deepened when Maria testified against Elena, claiming she was unfit due to her lifestyle. My granddaughter needs a moral home, Maria said, her voice trembling with conviction. Elena's face crumpled. The woman who'd raised her now wielded the knife. How could you, Mom? She whispered later. The family rift was complete. Siblings stopped calling, invitations ceased. Yet, amid the pain, awakenings flickered. Elena joined a support group for late-blooming lesbians, sharing stories that mirrored hers. I'm not alone, she told me, a spark returning to her eyes. We volunteered at a LGBTQ center, helping others navigate similar storms. But the costs mounted. Elena's shop suffered, bills piled up. I took extra freelance work, but resentment simmered. This is what you chose, I snapped one night during an argument over finances. The high point of tension arrived with a custody evaluation. The psychologist probed our relationship, questioning stability. How do you handle societal judgment? She asked. Elena answered honestly. It hurts, but love is worth it. I added my piece, but doubt crept in. Was our bond strong enough? Then a shocking twist. Marco, in a moment of clarity, proposed joint custody. I hate what you've done, but Sophia needs both of us. It was a olive branch born from his own therapy sessions. Elena accepted, tears of relief flowing. But the agreement came with strings. No public displays around Sophia until she was older. As we navigated co-parenting, new challenges emerged. Sophia's preschool friends teased her about two mommies, sparking Elena's fierce protectiveness. We'll teach her strength, she said. But the societal mirror reflected harshly. Media stories of similar cases highlighted discrimination, fueling Elena's activism. She spoke at a local rally, her voice steady. Love isn't a choice, denying it is. My own family, hearing whispers through distant relatives, reached out tentatively. A call from my mother. Is this serious? Her tone held judgment but also curiosity. I hung up, unresolved. The drama escalated when Elena's shop faced vandalism. Slurs spray-painted on the door. Freak, it read. We cleaned it together, but the fear lingered. Is this the price? Elena asked, her hands shaking. In a moment of raw honesty, I confronted her. If you regret us, say it. She pulled me close. Never. But the hurt. It's real. The final court hearing loomed like a guillotine. Its blade poised over the fragile threads of our lives. Elena paced our apartment, memorizing her statement, while Sophia colored obliviously at the table. Mommy, why are you sad? She asked. Elena forced a smile. Just grown-up stuff, baby. But the weight was crushing. Joint custody was on the table, but Marco pushed for primary, citing Elena's instability. I supported her as best I could, but my own fractures showed. Nightmares of abandonment plagued me, echoing my family's rejection. What if we lose? Elena fretted. Then we fight harder, I replied, but conviction wavered. Society's gaze intensified. Tabloid-esque neighborhood rumors spread, clients boycotted. Elena's business teetered on bankruptcy. The day arrived, the courtroom packed with tense faces. Marco's lawyer hammered Elena's sudden change, implying manipulation. Ms. Rossi, did Ms. Hayes pursue you? Elena straightened. No. This is my truth. Her words rang with defiance, but Maria's glare burned holes. In a dramatic turn, Elena's sister Julia, previously silent, testified in her favor. I've seen her happier than ever. Love is love. The betrayal reversed. Julia had secretly attended the support group, awakening to her own biases. Maria gasped, but the judge noted it. The ruling, joint custody with provisions for therapy. Relief washed over us, but victory was bittersweet. Marco nodded curtly. A truce formed in shared parenthood. Outside, Elena hugged me fiercely. We did it. But scars remained. Post-hearing, the real rebuilding began. Elena's family splintered further. Maria refused contact, but Julia bridged the gap. Give her time, she advised. Elena nodded, but the loss ached. Societal acceptance was gradual. A few clients returned, praising her courage. We attended couples counseling, unpacking resentments. I feel like I dragged you into this, Elena confessed. You didn't. I chose you, I countered. A new conflict arose with Sophia's school. A parent complained about our influence, demanding separation. Elena confronted the principal, voice steady. My family is valid. The standoff ended in our favor, but it highlighted ongoing battles. Media picked up the story. A local news piece on LGBTQ families, framing us as pioneers. Elena spoke eloquently. We're just people loving each other. But the moral quandaries persisted. Had Elena's choices been right? Sophia thrived, but whispered questions about daddy tugged at heartstrings. Marco softened over time, sharing holidays awkwardly. One Thanksgiving he toasted. To new beginnings. It was progress but uneasy. My awakening came during a visit to my parents in Ohio. Emboldened by Elena, I extended an olive branch. They listened stiffly. We don't understand, but we miss you, my mother said. No full acceptance, but a crack in the wall. Back in New York, our relationship deepened amid trials. We renovated the shop together, symbolizing renewal. But a betrayal from within struck. I discovered Elena had confided doubts to Marco during a co-parenting meeting. "Sometimes I wonder if I rushed," she'd said. Hurt exploded. "Do you regret us?" I demanded. She cried. "No, but the pain. It's overwhelming." We argued fiercely, exposing vulnerabilities. "I've lost everything for this," she shouted. "And I've gained you," I replied. Reconciliation came slowly, through honest talks and shared silences. The high trio peaked with a public declaration. Elena proposed at a pride march, ring in hand. "Will you marry me despite everything?" Tears streamed as I said yes. Cheers erupted, but backlash followed. Hate online, family silence. As we planned the wedding, decisions loomed. Invite the estranged? Elena chose yes, sending invites to Maria and my parents. Responses varied: Julia yes, others no. The absence stung, but we forged ahead. The wedding day arrived. Intimate in a Brooklyn garden. Sophia as flower girl, Marco walking Elena down the aisle in a gesture of peace. Vows exchanged amid tears. "I choose you with all the costs." But as we danced, shadows lingered. Society's full embrace elusive. In the aftermath, life stabilized. Elena's business rebounded with a queer-friendly rebrand. We advocated turning pain into purpose. But questions remained. Was the destruction worth the rebirth? The honeymoon in the Catskills was a brief respite, a bubble of bliss amid the lingering debris of our shattered lives. Elena and I hiked misty trails, hands intertwined, Sophia with Marco for the week. "We've come so far," she murmured by a campfire, her ring glinting. But even there, doubts whispered, news alerts of anti-LGBTQ legislation, reminding us paradise was fragile. Back in Brooklyn, reality crashed in. Elena's shop flourished, drawing a diverse clientele. But old wounds reopened when Maria showed up unannounced. "I saw the wedding photos online," she said, voice strained. "Is this really you?" Elena stood tall. "Yes, Mom. And I'm happy." Maria hesitated, then left an olive branch, a family heirloom necklace. For Sophia. It wasn't forgiveness, but a start. My family followed suit, a awkward Zoom call. "We're trying," my father admitted. Progress was slow, laced with judgment, but the door cracked open. Societal pressures evolved into activism. Elena testified at city council meetings for queer rights, her story a beacon. "I paid dearly for my truth," she said. "I joined designing campaigns, but the costs tallied. Lost friendships, financial strains from legal fees." Sophia, now 3, navigated 2 homes fluidly, but therapy helped her process. A new moral dilemma emerged when Marco started dating. Jealousy flickered in Elena. Not for him, but the ease of his normal life. "He moves on, no stigma," she vented. I held her. "We have each other." But it highlighted inequalities. The ultimate test came with a pregnancy scare. Elena wanted another child via IVF. "With you," she said. Discussions turned heated. Affordability, societal views on queer parenting. What if Sophia feels different? I worried. We decided yes, but the process strained us: hormones, appointments, rejections from conservative clinics. During this, a betrayal surfaced. Julia revealed Maria had funded Marco's lawyer initially. Elena confronted her mother. "Why?" Maria broke. "I was scared. For you, for the family." Tears flowed. Reconciliation tentative. "I love you, but I don't understand," Maria said. Elena replied, "Then learn." As the IVF succeeded, joy mingled with fear. Elena's pregnancy amplified vulnerabilities, health risks, public scrutiny. Neighborhood support grew, but online trolls harassed. We fortified, drawing strength from community. Awakenings culminated in Elena's memoir pitch, chronicling her journey. Publishers bit, turning pain into platform. "This is our legacy," she said. But success invited envy. Marco accused her of exploiting their story. For Sophia's sake, stop. She refused. Truth heals. My graphic designs went viral, blending art with advocacy. Together, we hosted workshops for questioning women, paying forward support. Yet, the drama never fully faded. A family reunion tested bonds. Maria attended, stiff but present. Conversations were halting, but Sophia's laughter bridged gaps. Marco brought his girlfriend, creating awkward dynamics. "This is modern family," Elena joked, but tension simmered. In quiet moments we reflected on choices. Was it worth the heartbreak? I asked one night, Elena's belly swelling. She smiled. Every tear led here. The story's arc closed with growth but open wounds. Elena birthed a healthy boy, Luca, symbolizing new beginnings. Families converged at the hospital, Maria holding him, eyes softening. "He's beautiful," she whispered. But full harmony eluded. Societal debates raged. Laws fluctuating, prejudices persisting. Our love endured, forged in fire. In the end was Elena's decision to embrace her true self, despite the devastation to her marriage and family, ultimately the right one. Or did the collateral damage outweigh the personal liberation?